Jai Radha Giri Daddy. Okay. I guess we're as good as we're gonna get. Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopijana Balaba Virivanadari Gopijana Balaba Virivanadari Jasodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanatari Jamuna Tiravanatari Jairadam Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopijana Balaba Virivanadari Jasodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Jamuna Tiravanatari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Boom. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Boom. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Boom. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Jai Madhava Kunda Behari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Behari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Behari. Radha Madhava Kunda Behari. Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Pari Bhajakacharya. Asate Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Shri Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Go Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kunda Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki. Vrindavanam Ki. Maturadam Ki. Dwarkadam Ki. Navadidam Ki. Jagannapuridam Ki. Jamuna Mai Ki. Ganga Mai Ki. Tulsi Maharani Ki. Bhakti Devi Ki. Sambhita Bhakti Vrinda Ki. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Shri Sri Radha Giridhari Ki. Shri Krishna Sankirtana Jaga Ki. Go Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the divine Lurasita, Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. It's a nice garland. Do we know who made it? No. But we know that someone made it. It didn't happen by chance. No, the pujaris just opened the fridge and there it is. They put the unstrung flowers in and the next day there's a garland. It happens by chance. Any of you accept that? Can our head pujari Dayanidhi accept that? If you just leave the flowers in there long enough, it'll happen. No, it won't. They'll rot. Oh, and people just lap it up. You know why? Sariputta showed me a video, and it was a guy. It's a branch of Oxford, Cavendish Laboratories. It's like our Livermore laboratory, you know, up at the Bay Area, where they make nuclear weapons. So he was some big, hardcore, materialistic, reductionist scientist. And Sariputta, you know, one of the founding members of the Bhaktivedanta Institute, he showed me this clip. And the guy says, well, it's really an either-or choice. It's either one or the other. It's either that things happen by random choice, by the interaction, mindless interaction of the laws of nature, or there's a designer, there's a creator, there's a lawmaker. It's either one or the other. And then he said, but we choose to accept the idea, the principle that it happens by random chance. He said, because the alternative is just untenable for us, which means the idea of accepting that there's a controller and the lawmaker and an intelligence behind this machine is unacceptable. Why is it unacceptable for them? Oh, that I hadn't thought of. That usurps their position, that they're the ones in charge. But what's the other reason? Well, then I'm subordinate. Then I have to surrender to somebody. I have to accept that there's a supreme plan maker. And I've got to get with the program. And I don't want to do that. I want to figure it all out. I want to control it. I want to be independent. I want it to go my way. And the idea of surrendering, that's just untenable. It's unacceptable. Sound like an atheist? Like an asura? Okay. And it's foolish. It's such a waste of time. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya. Oh, I should say it. But I'm trying to get this thing to cooperate. Because it won't page forward. Let's try this. It's actually dying on me. Search. Oh, come on. Content, let's try that. Bhagavatam. But we don't want to be at the first, we want text. Oh, come on. What to do? Get me the book. That's a novel concept. We could do that. Huh. Yeah, but that's got that such tiny script. Krishna Sadamo Bhagate Dhammaganadi Bisaha Kalanasa Deshamesha Parano Ko Nadodata Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narotama Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. The Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. It is arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of the age of Kali shall get light out of this Purana. Before beginning our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, we should first offer our respects to the personality of God and Narayan, the Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, the goddess of learning, Mother Saraswati, the author, Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. So we have 24 on the board. Yeah, we'll chant that first, and then we'll go back and read the other verses. Yadrichaya. Let's see. Upapanena santushto vartate sukam na santustas tribir lokar And again, I'm going to break it up because it's a bit much for you guys to say. Ajitatma upasaditai yadrichayo papanena santusto vartate sukham na santustas tribir lokar ajitatmo pasaditai yadrichayo papanena santusto vartate sukham na santustas tribir lokar ajitatmo pasaditai yadrichayo papanena santusto vartate sukham na santustas tribir lokar ajitatmo pasaditai yadrichayo papanena santusto vartate sukham na santustas tribir lokar ajitatma upaditai yadrichayo na santusto vartate sukham na santustas tribir lokar ajitatma pasaditai yadrichayo papanena santusto vartate sukham na santusta tribir lokar ajitatmo pasaditai. Vaishnavis yadrichayo papanena santusto vartate sukham na santustas lokar ajitatmo pasaditai. All righty. Bless you. Okay, now we're going to go back. Maybe we'll do the word for word. Yadrichaya, as offered by the Supreme Authority, according to one's karma. Upanena, upapanena, by whatever is obtained. Santustas, one should be satisfied. Vartate, there is. Sukham, happiness. Na, not. Asantustas, one who is dissatisfied. Tribilokai, even by performing, either by possessing the three worlds. Ajitatma, one who cannot control his senses. Upasaditai, even though obtained. Okay, so 21 was yesterday, 22. If I were not, now who's speaking? Do we know who's speaking? Who's speaking? Vamanadev. Okay, who's he speaking to? Okay, now somebody else. What's going on? What is the activity that's going on that Vamanadev is speaking to Bali Maharaj? Who's Bali Maharaj other than you? Who's Bali Maharaj?
Grandson of Prahlad Maharaj.
Oh, who was that? Huh? Oh, Tapas. Way to go, Tapas. So Bali Maharaj has just conquered the demigods and is control of the three worlds. And little Vamanadev, who's a dwarf, small size, beautiful, but small size, is asking for 3 steps of land. And Bali Maharaj says, I can give you anything. I'm the person that, having asked once, it's like if you meet, of course that'd be hard to do because he's passed away, but if you were to meet Steve Jobs and he said, listen, I'll give you anything you want. Anything. And you said, could you give me a used computer? Would that be a smart thing to do? The guy can give you anything, billions of dollars. And he's just offered it to you. And you said, give me an old computer. I'll be happy. So Vamanadev's asked for 3 steps of land. And he's dwarf size, 1, 2, you can imagine. Be lucky to be a meter, to, a yard. So he says, no, ask for more. And now we're hearing the Supreme Lord, disguised as a dwarf, who's actually got a plan, that's about to unfold, saying, no, just give me 3 steps. And he's explaining. Okay. So he says, if I were not satisfied with 3 pieces of land, then, this is small print for me, then surely I would not be satisfied even with possessing one of the 7 islands consisting of 9 varsas. Even if I possessed 1 island, I would hope to get others. So next. We have heard that although powerful kings like Maharaj Prithu and Maharaj Gaya achieved proprietorship over the 7 dvipas, they could not achieve satisfaction or find the end of their ambitions. Next. One should be satisfied with whatever he achieves by his previous destiny, for discontent can never bring happiness. A person who is not self-controlled will not be happy even with possessing the 3 worlds. It's a secret from Bhagavatam. I'll say again, or I'll say, you say. One should be satisfied with whatever one achieves by his personal destiny. For discontent can never bring happiness. A person who is not self-controlled will not be happy, even with possessing the 3 worlds. And Prabhupada says, if happiness is the ultimate goal of life, one must be satisfied with the position in which he is placed by providence. This instruction is given by Prahlad Maharaj. My dear friends, born of demoniac families, the happiness perceived with reference to the sense objects by contact with the body can be obtained in any form of life, according to one's past fruitive activities. Such happiness is automatically attained without endeavor, just as we obtain distress. Bhagavatam 7.6.3. This philosophy is perfect in regard to obtaining happiness. Real happiness is described in the Bhagavad Gita 6:21. In the spiritual, joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness and enjoys himself through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, end quote. One has to perceive happiness by the super senses. One should ask, what are the super senses? Anyone know what that is? Like superpowers, X-ray vision? What does it mean, super senses? Shouldn't that be a natural question? It just stated that one one has to perceive happiness through the super senses. Anyone here not want to become happy? Any closet masochists here? No, you want to become happy. Well, are we to believe Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam? Okay, wake up. Every one of us is a spiritual being, aham brahmasmi, and every one of us is an individual person. Our senses are now covered by material elements, and because of ignorance, we consider the material senses that cover us our real senses. The real senses, however, are within the material covering. Dehinosmin yata dehe. Within the covering of the material elements are the spiritual senses. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. When the spiritual senses are uncovered by these senses, we can become happy. Satisfaction of the spiritual senses is thus described. Rishikesha rishikena sevanam bhakti uchte. When the senses are engaged in devotional service, the Rishikesh, that's the Supreme Lord, the master of the senses, then the senses are completely satisfied. Without this spiritual knowledge of sense gratification, one may try to satisfy his material senses, but happiness will never be possible. One may increase his ambition for sense gratification and even achieve what he desires for the great gratification of his senses. But because this is on the material platform, he will never achieve satisfaction and contentment. According to the Brahminical culture, one should be content with whatever he obtains without special endeavor and should cultivate spiritual consciousness. Then he will be happy. The purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement is to spread this understanding. People, they look at us chanting downtown. Yesterday we went chanting for the Comic-Con. And does anyone know what a ticket to Comic-Con costs? I think it's a couple $100 if you get a weekend pass. And then for special, I mean, you got to rent a hotel, you got to fly out here. Most people come from out of town. You know, but that you're there for a couple days with a hotel, ticket, meals. It's $1,000 sometimes. It's a lot of money. So, but what's the result of the thing? But they see the devotees, and this is not an uncommon experience. Especially, you know, like New Year's, they all stay up till midnight. Happy New Year, happy. 15 minutes later, they're barfing in their shoes, and they can't find their car keys, and they're completely unhappy. And what happens? They walk past the Harinam party. A guy told me one time, we're a little off track, but it's okay. He came out of a restaurant dressed in a tuxedo. He was a nice guy, actually. And I was at the front, so he stopped me. I'd been leading, we stopped for a minute. So he came up to me, And he said, you know, he said, see that table in there? And there was about 7 or 8 people sitting at the table. He said, now that's my New Year's party. And he said, and then we're going to go over to the Grant Ballroom at midnight. We're going to do this and that, you know. And he said, we've spent $1,000 a couple. Then there's 5 couples. That's $5,000 we've spent. And he said, and you know what? And he pointed to the devotees chanting. And he said, and that restaurant is full of people all doing the same thing. They've all spent the same amount of money. And the guy said, and you know what's interesting? You guys, meaning devotees, are the only ones who are happy. And I said to him, given my sarcastic nature, I said, and you know what? We're doing it for free. And the guy said, he actually gave me $100, you know, for the temple. He gave me $100. So contentment, happiness, and contentment. In this context, I have, what is it called? Stimulus response. Stimulus response. I'm hungry, I fill my belly. I'm cold, I put on a sweater. Whatever it is, I have sex urge, I find somebody to mate with. So there's itch and scratching it. That's what Prabhupada says. You scratch an itch, okay, you get a little bit of relief, but it's really, you fall into negative and you come to 0. Negative, 0. Negative, 0. Because it has no substance. The real definition of happiness means to be in a satisfied state. How can you say you're actually happy when you're unsatisfied? I want more, you know, I'm hankering, now it's gone, I'm lamenting. I want it, I want it, I want it. I've got it. And when you've got it, what are you in anxiety about? I want it, I want it, I want it. I've got it. What immediately happens? Help me out. What happens? Huh? You want more, but also underlying that wanting more is something else. When is it going to be over? So even your so-called got it, like you said, you're correct. I want more. It's never enough. It never just, you know, maybe for a few minutes. But then, even then, you're in anxiety. When am I going to lose it? When is it going to wear out? So it's not contentment. It's not satisfaction. So happy, so-called material happiness with the material senses does not bring happiness, real happiness. It gives a temporary cessation of a material negative state. I'm hungry and I feel my belly, I have an itch and I scratch it. That's all it really is. But genuine happiness, sustained happiness, depends on contentment and satisfaction. That's a whole different ballgame. Okay, we'll just finish here. If one is not trained to satisfy the spiritual senses and continues in material sense gratification, he will never obtain happiness that is eternal and blissful. Srimad Bhagavatam therefore says, one must practice austerity so that his existential position will be purified, and he will achieve unlimited blissful life. Om Ganata Mirandasya Gana Gana Salakaya Charchusha Milithan Gana. We got to move fast. Tasmadishi Gurave Namaha. I wanted to say a few things first. Let's see how far we get. The Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on these same verses, he gives a gloss or a purport that goes like this. He says that, well, Krishna is the source of all things. Is cheating a good quality? If I cheat you, I say, hey, Ram, my brother used to cheat me. And this is when coins meant something. He would say, listen, you've got that nickel, you know, the size of a nickel. I got this skinny, small little dime. I'll trade you. You give me those nickels, and I'll give you these. You give me those dimes, and I'll give you all these big nickels. And, you know, I had a whole jar full of coins. I gave my, you know, in those days, probably about $10 worth of nickels, and he took, whatever it is, took $20 worth of dimes from me. You know, my mother realized what was happening and said, give him his money back, you know. And, I mean, nobody likes a cheater. Except a cheater, but nobody else likes him, you know. So, and yet, here we have Krishna as a cheater. He's cheating Vamanadev. He's intentionally, he's got a plan. I'm going to trick him into giving me 3 steps, and with those 3 steps, I'm going to take everything he has. First step, I'm going to cover the whole universe. First step, he covers the earth. The next step, he covers the entire creation, so much so that he pokes his toe through the covering of the universe, and the Ganges leaks in. So many things. And then he's got a third step. Hey, where am I going to put my third step? You know? Or then you have to become my slave. You've got your head. Bali Maharaja says, I've got one plate. You know, you put your foot on my head. So Krishna cheats him. Now let's look at another thing. Anger. Krishna warns us. One of the 3 gates to hell is anger, isn't it? Yeah, was it lust, greed, and anger? The 3 gates to hell? And yet, who can be more angry than Lord Nrsingadev? I mean, he's got flames coming from his head. The wives of the asuras, the wives of the asuras miscarry when they hear him roaring. I mean, he bifurcates, as Sridananda Maharaj says, the brief surgical operation which the patient did not survive. Hiranyakasipu with his sharp nails, finished. So Krishna's angry. He's so angry, all the demigods are terrified. None of them will go forward. They push a little Prahlad. You have a crack at it, you know, and we're not going to, you know. And lust, is anyone like lust? Somebody's a Casanova or, you know, a harlot? Nobody likes that, you know, no one of any class or quality. And yet Krishna is stealing other people's wives. So lust, anger, greed, he's cheating to get from Bali Maharaj. So it appears to be the most abominable. But is it? Is Bali Maharaj, of course, I mean, I know you may not have read this part of the Bhagavatam, we hope you have. But does Bali Maharaj wind up being the loser? Ram, does Bali Maharaj wind up being the loser at the end of this story? He gets a better, you know, he has Lord Vishnu as his own guard. He's got a whole series of planets. Were the gopis the losers? Was Hiranyakasipu the loser? Nobody. Krishna's all good, absolute. Everyone benefits. And that which appears to be as it appears to be a bad quality, what may appear to be a bad reaction on us. Why did Krishna do that? Why didn't he give me my high school girlfriend as my wife? Instead, she ran off with a football player, so I joined the Hare Krishnas in frustration. Why not? No. Krishna saved me. I became a devotee. Joined the Hare Krishna movement. Best thing that ever happened to me. And I'll go back home, back to Godhead. That's not actually autobiographical, but the principle is there. So my point is, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that Krishna is all good, absolute. He's the source of all things. And when anything in touch with Krishna becomes beneficial for everyone, everyone benefits. So there's no loss. When we surrender to Krishna, there's no loss. And there's another gloss by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that previous verse, Bali Maharaja has called Vamanadev less intelligent. Just like if you go before Steve Jobs and you take a beat-up old computer, or you ask him for $100. I parked at Apple, in the wrong space. I got a $100 ticket. Can you help me out? Is that smart? So Bali Maharaj is saying, actually, you're not very intelligent. It's okay. You're a young boy. You're not very intelligent. You have not addressed your self-interest. Because that's the cornerstone of intelligence. I acted in my own self-interest. Right? So Vamanadev, he didn't act. He could have asked for anything. He asked for 3 steps of land. He didn't act in his own self-interest. There's the prayers of Sishupal. And Sishupal calls Krishna so many things. But it's turned, the goddess of learning cursed him, so everything became, jammed his tongue, and everything became a blessing, a benediction. So he turned Sishupal's curses into blessings. So the same thing actually happened here. When Krishna's Vamanadev appears to be uninterested, what it means is that he has no interest to fulfill. Krishna is completely self-satisfied. Krishna has no interest. He doesn't want, just like the spiritual master and the sadhus. When we go on book distribution, when Govardhan and Ananda Vrindavan go out to Balboa Park, do they want anything from these people? Are you looking for a little, maybe they'll give you some free marijuana, or some girlfriend will give you a peck on the cheek? I mean, is that what you're looking for? Do you want anything from these people? Why are you going out? Why do we go out on Sankirtan? Why? Why? Because we feel sorry for them. Because we're self-satisfied, relishing Krishna Prasadam, beautiful deities, best of friends. We're fearless. We're not worried about getting old and wrinkled, which is going to happen. We're not worried about any of that stuff. I got a shaved head. My hair, if I go bald, it saves me time. So much less to worry about. Anybody here wake up and wonder what to put on in the morning? Do I think, well, should I put on a dhoti or put on a dhoti? Or put on a dhoti. I mean, I know devotees may think, well, and it's, it's okay, you're a householder, you want to make sure the stripe matches the stripe on your kurta. Okay, that may be the big challenge, a blue stripe and a blue dhoti stripe and a blue kurta. Okay, fine, but I mean, my daughter, I forget what it was, when she was a teenager here at what is this, high school? Whoops. Which is, what is it, the Buccaneers? Mission Bay. You know who the star graduate of Mission Bay High School was? Frank Zappa. Now, you don't know Frank Zappa because he's dead, but he was just a nonsense speculator, low-class guy. So, and I hope I didn't offend anybody. But so they were going out to something. I forget what they were going to go out to with their friends. And they spent about 3 hours getting ready. I mean, I'll be frank, they were going to some movie or something. I thought it was innocent enough. I mean, not for devotees, but she's a young teenager. So they were going to go somewhere. And they spent about 3 hours getting ready. And then the film was canceled or something happened. And they were perfectly fine. They said, actually, the fun was getting dressed. It wasn't, we didn't care about where we were going. We just wanted to, So, if one's self-satisfied, because, okay, that's the thing. The devotees are not going out to the park to get anything. They're self-satisfied. We are full up with happiness. I mean, you give them a garland like this, they're shocked. You go to Hawaii now, I don't know if they even do this anymore. They used to give you a lei, like a garland, but now they're plastic. You get a plastic with no fragrance. What? What's this, So you give them a nice garland, they're shocked. They can't believe it. Home-cooked food with no additives, no preservatives. They're shocked. That's prasadam. What to speak of, offered to Krishna. Nutritious. I mean, in so many ways. The devotees are Atmaram, are fully satisfied. And Krishna is the supreme fully satisfied. So, here's the thing by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. If Krishna is fully satisfied, he has no desires to fulfill, on one hand. He's got the gopis, Krishna. I mean, Lord Ram didn't have to go get Sita. He's the husband of Goddess of Fortune. Could have made so many Sitas. Fully satisfied. What is the burning desire of Krishna when he comes to this world? So when they say Krishna is unintelligent, he's not self-motivated, he's not contemplating. Like Bali was saying, materialistic vision is you should calculate what's best for you. You should be calculating what do you want that will make you happy. But Krishna and the devotees are fully satisfied. So what do they want to do? What does Krishna want to do? He wants to give pleasure to his devotees. Prabhupada said, what is it? Purtanaya sadhanam vinasaya chaduskam dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. The Krishna comes birth after birth, lifetime after life, yuge yuge, comes to this world to annihilate the demons, to save the devotees, and to reestablish religion. Prabhupada said, I was sitting there. Prabhupada said, actually, the demons, that's an earthquake, a tidal wave, a World War I, the war to end all wars. 20 years later, 30 years later, World War II comes along. Well, that's the war to make the world safe for democracy. I don't know how 10 years later there's the Korean War. Now we're in a perpetual state of war. More people have died in guerrilla wars and civil wars and rebellions, have died in the last 15 years than died in World War I and World War II and the Civil War combined. It's in a constant state of murderous conflicts. So, Prabhupada said that Krishna, he doesn't need to comfort the demons, that he can take care of so easily. And the devotees have full faith in Krishna, so they're surrendered. He doesn't need to comfort them. And to establish religion, there's sadhus, there's the Bhagavatam, so many things. Prabhupada said the real reason Krishna comes is just to give the devotees happiness, just to give the devotees something to talk about. That's what Prabhupada said. So my simple point is, we didn't even get into the bulk of the thing. But the secret is not trying to satisfy one's material senses. It's just stimulus, response, negative to zero, negative to zero. And you're always in anxiety, you know, how am I going to get it? If I get it, someone's going to take it. And if they don't take it, it's going to wear out. And if those three don't whack you, there's a saturation point. After a while, you get tired, you get bored. Got to be something new. Look at, next time you're shopping, look at how many things say new and improved. Look at how many products. If it was so great, I mean, they were selling me as the best thing since sliced bread. Now they're telling me it's new and improved. What does that mean? What they were selling me was defective, deficient, junk. But now we got a new version. It's new and improved. Oh, okay. Take more of my money. So, what is the real thing is contentment. And contentment comes by engaging in the service of Krishna. Then one becomes, because one can be content. That's the last thing I wanted to say. I knew there was something else. I was fishing for time. Let's say this. The devotees, just a few quick examples and we'll end. The first temple we opened in Germany was our Shivananda. Was Shivananda here when you were here? Prabhupada Shivananda? He's an interesting guy, very nice, very humble, surrendered devotee. He's not materially together. He's not. He gave a cooking class up at UCSD. He didn't really know how to cook. He tried to make dal, and he, you know, with a little hot plate on the rug of the room we used. And all he managed to do was burn a hole in the university's rug. We had to pay, you know, to fix the thing. So, you know, materially wasn't together, but a very sincere devotee. The first temple in Germany, I think it was probably one of the first temples in Europe, probably Bhaktivedanta Manor first, Soho Street. Yeah. Anyway, so in Germany, in Berlin, because he had no money, what he rented was a bombed-out building left over from World War II. The front looked nice, and you opened it up, there were sides, but no back. It was just gone. The back wall had been blown out. You know what his answer was? Hey, we get a big crowd, we got plenty of room. We can just go out the back. He was, you know, he was an innocent devotee. He was satisfied. There's devotees were thrown in jail in Russia. And like Samson, you know, they cut off his hair, he lost all of his strength. They thought if they took away our japa beads, you know, they'd finally be able to brainwash us and convince us to be happy in the workers' paradise, you know. So they took away the japa beads and they put devotees on bread and water. They're in prison. Psychiatric prisons. No association, just, I mean, externally in a miserable condition. You know what they did? They took that black bread, you know, the Russian heavy bread. They would push it into balls, take straw out of their mattress, poke a hole through the ball of bread, poke a hole through it, dry it on their window ledge, little slit window, put it up there. It would dry in the little bit of sun that was coming through. They'd took a strip off their off their bed, just a sheet and a scratchy blanket, and they made beads. They tied out of their bread ball beads, and they were chanting, happy like a lark. Devotees were thrown into jail and I've told this story before, but just for the new people, in Tennessee. They were, Harinam, and they threw us in jail in Tennessee. The Vishnu Jan Maharaj with his bus and probably about 15 brahmacharis threw them in jail. Now they were living on khichdi every day. Khichdi's fine, a baker's banquet, but it can wear on you after a while. So they were looking to go to Dallas, Tennessee, to Dallas, not so far. They were going to be there just in time for the Sunday feast. So with dreams of gulab jamuns and samosas in their head, they went on Harinam. They were arrested and they were thrown in jail. I think they were arrested for holding a parade without a license. It was the trumped up charge. The Nective Devotion had just come out, and Prabhupada was explaining that Krishna can be satisfied by manaseva, service within the mind. If you don't have there was the Brahman who was cooking and worshiping the imaginary deity within his mind with so many wonderful things. And in his mind, he made sweet rice. It's a whole story. And he made sweet rice, and sweet rice should be offered cold. When he tested the pot, he burned his hand on it. It's a whole story. It actually happened. So there's more to the story, but we don't have time. So this had just come out in Nexus Devotion. The devotees decided, they're morose. Brahmacharis on their way to the Sunday feast. Now they're in jail. They're going to be in jail through the weekend because there's no court Saturday and Sunday. They're going to miss the feast. What to do? So Vishnu Jan said, well, we'll cook the feast within our mind. They're all in one big holding cell. It's a downtown, whatever it is, Hicksville. There they are. And they got Billy Bob and Joe somebody, whoever the two cops are. And so they actually, they cut the cauliflowers, dipped them in ghee, cooked them, everything. But in their mind. They rolled puris, they made, samosas, cooked the sweet rice, made the pineapple chutney, all within their mind. Now the two cops, the local good old boys, were getting a little nervous because, they don't see anything. And the devotees are cutting and chopping, so that made them a little nervous. Then the devotees all, had a nice big kirtan, air madungas, air called kartals. So our two cops, Billy Bob and his buddy, are getting more, Then the devotees all sat down and served out the prasadam. Vishnu Jan Maharaj said it's the only feast he's ever been to that everything you wanted was there, everything turned out perfect, and there was leftovers. Because all in the mind, So then the last thing that happened was one of the devotees made up a faux plate, an air plate, imaginary plate, got a spoon, and handed it to Billy Bob and said, would you like a plate? The guy said, that's it, you're out of here. They just opened the door and they said, northeast, southwest, pick a direction, but go. And the devotees all piled into the Vandra and they made it just in time for the feast in Dallas. It has a happy ending. But my point is that contentment with the super senses, serving Krishna, it's simply the effort. We want to make it nice. If you have the physical means to make it nice. Should be the very best for Krishna. But Krishna is satisfied in any condition, and only the devotees are content. You never run out of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. You can never, Prabhupada said, no unemployment problem. You never run out of service. So only the devotees, using their senses in the service of Krishna, actually become happy. So that's the lesson, one of the lessons from Vamanadev. He was not unintelligent. He was merciful. Okay, thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.